Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Omotayo Alo. In our major story, the presidency has confirmed that President Muhammad Buhari will not extend his corruption probe beyond the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Also in this program, some senators elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have warned some unnamed politicians against unleashing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on members of the National Assembly. Chief of Army Staff Major General Tukur Buratai says the era of troops taking up defensive position against terrorists and other criminals is now over. Outside Nigeria, U.S. President Barack Obama arrived in Kenya late Friday, his first visit to the country of his father's birth since his election as president. Now the news in full. The presidency has affirmed that President Muhammad Buhari will not extend his corruption probe beyond the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Buhari, who just returned from a 4-day official visit to the United States, has consistently vowed to investigate and bring to book persons who looted the country's funds. The president said on Tuesday in the U.S. that he would arrest and prosecute past ministers and other officials who stole Nigeria's oil and diverted government's money into personal accounts. But the president's special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, said the president will not limit his anti-corruption war to the immediate past administration in the country. He said Buhari will not waste time in probing the administrations of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Abdulsalam Abubakar, Sani Abacha, and Ibrahim Babangida. President Muhammad Buhari on Friday said there was no truth in the local and international media that he accused or indicated the United States government of helping the terrorist group Boko Haram. In a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the president described the reporters wildly off-mark. He described the reporters' unfortunate misinterpretation and distortion of his remarks at the United States Institute of Peace during his official visit to Washington, D.C. He said he made it clear in those remarks, copies of which were circulated to the media, that he was convinced that the United States could never support groups such as Boko Haram. President Muhammad Buhari on Friday promised that Nigeria will continue to work in collaboration with the African Union and the international community for the achievement of reconciliation and lasting peace in South Sudan. A statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, quoted the president as speaking while granting audience to the United Nations High Representative for South Sudan, Alpha Omar Kone. Adesina said the president urged the government of South Sudan and all the political factions in the country to start implementing the various peace agreements reached under the auspices of the United Nations, the AU, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development in Eastern Africa. The president was reported to have said that compliance to the agreement by all parties to the dispute in South Sudan was an essential first step towards returning the country to the path of peace, stability, and development. The UN representative told Buhari that violence had regrettably continued in South Sudan in spite of several peace agreements. Some senators elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have warned some unnamed politicians against unleashing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on members of the National Assembly. They issued the warning against the backdrop of the EFCC invitation to the wife of the Senate President to appear before it on Tuesday next week. In a statement signed by Senator Peter Nwaboshi, representing Delta North Senatorial District, the lawmakers said any attempt to use the anti-graft agencies on members of the National Assembly as a result of the leadership crisis will not be only constitutionally resisted, but could also have their consequences on governance in the country. Senator Nwaboshi argued that such as the lawmakers were not against anti-corruption agencies performing their statutory duties, the invitation by EFCC to the wife of the Senate President is a pointer to a threat by a group of lawmakers that they would use all means to fight the leadership. The chairman of the PDP in Delta State wondered what EFCC was waiting for before inviting Mrs. Saraki more than 4 years after leaving when government house with her husband in 2011. The chairman of the PDP in Delta State also wondered what the EFCC was doing and urged them to act as fast as possible. There's been an improvement in the revenue available for distribution among the federal, states and the local governments from the Federation accounts for the second month running. All three tiers are sharing 518.554 billion naira for June in the aftermath of improved oil sales. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Anastasia Onwakobio, briefed journalists at the end of the meeting. Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Buratai, says the era of troops taking up defensive position against terrorists and other criminals is over. He said this on the occasion of the combined graduation ceremony for Basic Airborne Course 37 and Basic Riga Course 23 held at the Airborne Drop Zone of the Nigerian Army School Infantry Nasi Jaji. The Chief of Army Staff insists that under his word, troops would take the battle to insurgents with a view to dislodging them from wherever they are.
These are members of airborne troops showing their abilities to drop behind enemy lines in warfare. They have just completed a course and are keen on displaying their newly acquired skills. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Buratai, says he expects them to go to great length to discharge their duties. He also insists that the troops could be more proactive in going after insurgents.
As you prepare to depart to the mission area, I must warn you to avoid untoward incidents that could tarnish the image of the Nigerian Army in particular and the nation in general.
The commandant of the Army School of Infantry have earlier declared that the airborne troops are prepared for the task of defending the nation's territorial integrity.
That the Nigerian Army Peacekeeping Center, in its mandate, has the responsibility of providing quality training for troops earmarked for peace support operations. This is to prepare them for the contemporary multidimensional peacekeeping environment, which has become more dynamic and complex.
And just as he did other field visits, the Chief of Army Staff joined officers and men in some physical activities.
The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has accused the former staff behind recent corruption allegations against the Director General of blackmail. It described the alleged whistleblower as a former Director of Finance and Accounts who had been under investigation for sundry offenses. NAFDAC Director of Special Duties Abubakar Jimoh told CoreTV News that the agency is also looking at the possibility of a connivance with a drug counterfeiting cartel.
Allegations made
by the former director of finance that we're talking about does not mean it assaults its sensibilities, it assaults intelligence, it stands reason on its own head totally. So you cannot begin to, because it doesn't make sense at all. In the last since 2010, this man has been has been superintending over payment of contract, award of contract, pursuing the beginning from the award to the end, the due processes involved, interfacing with the Bureau of Public Enterprise, Public Procurement, Bureau for Public Procurement. He is the anchor person interfacing with them. Ministerial Tenders Board, he is the anchor person. The NAFDAC Tenders Board, he, for quite a long time, until recently, when the procurement unit was taken out of his grip, you understand, that was about it. So he was the anchor of everything. So to begin to now become a whistleblower, at what point? At what point? Is it when he was redeployed because of gross of traceable incompetence in the recent time, of certain misdemeanor that that the intelligence report reaching the DG, that he felt that he could no longer contend with? Last year, you recall that the NAFDAC workers went on strike, and they had some checklist of demand. One was then, with you of pending self-claims, they were not paid appropriately. You travel overseas, you come back, 3 people, out of 3 people, he pays 1, 2 others months, you won't pay them, depending on how you are sensible and you kind of gravitate towards his gesture.
Join us after this break for more stories.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will strong for Yoruba land, will be strong man, you don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it's time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
If you're just joining us, it's CoreTV Primetime News. Here's a quick reminder of our major story. The presidency has affirmed that President Muhammad Buhari will not extend his corruption probe beyond the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Some senators elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have warned some unnamed politicians against unleashing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on members of the National Assembly. Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Buratai, says the era of troops taking up defensive position against terrorists and other criminals is now over. The crisis rocking the Ekiti State chapter of the People's Democratic Party is taking a new twist. The state government and the PDP faction loyal to Ayo Fayose has accused the Olatunde faction of the campaign to the APC. But the Olatunde faction denied the allegation as they berated the state government of creating the squad and not fulfilling its promises to the party and those who worked for the success of the party at the polls. Rashid has more.
Let them go to APC. We don't mind. Like that, our brother in the party secretariat, let him go to APC. Because he's working with them, let's have some peace. We have left the secretariat for him to enjoy. Because he's a cook plotter.
With that, it is obvious that the center cannot hold anymore and the assertion that the ones being referred to by Ayo Fayoshi has actually dumped the party altogether for the All Progressives Congress. This echoed reactions from the other faction led by Tunde Olatunde and Tokbe Aluko debunking the rumor.
The author who threw it to the newspaper, may God grant him the grace to walk and never to eat. Because we have labored for PDP, it is true there may be issues between the party and the government, but it's being addressed.
The secretary of the party, Tokbe Aluko, says the governor has erred on the constitution of the party, which is causing repos and underfunding.
Mr. Governor is a major beneficiary of the party structure, and all other National Assembly members or House of Assembly members, they are major beneficiaries. And what is expected constitutionally is 10% deduction back to the party.
As the trade of words continue, the Olatunde faction says they remain the authentic and recognized party leadership in Ekiti State.
He will wake up, report at governor's office. That is where he chairmans his own people. He's a chairman of government house.
With the trade of words showing no sign of abating, more drama may not be far from the sleeves of these factions in time to come. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
The Nigerian authorities have flagged off the intercity train service from Kano to Port Harcourt. The managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Adesheyi Shijuwade, said in his welcome address that the train service would go a long way in boosting business activities between the north and south of the country. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje was represented at the occasion by the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Al-Hussein Daguwa.
That is women wrapper, perfumes, cosmetics and jewelry movement from Sabongari Market in Kano, crisscrossing Benue markets to the far eastern markets in Enugu, Abia and River states, paralyzed due to lack of rail transport between the northwestern axis and the eastern part of the country. However, in view of the ongoing reforms efforts by the Nigerian Railway Corporation, train services are now being resuscitated in phases across the country. This newly introduced train service comprises two 68-seater air-conditioned modern first-class passenger coaches, which will be conveying our dignitaries today, a restaurant coach for comfort on board, and several standard class coaches. It traverses a rail distance of 1,139 kilometers stretching from Kano to Port Harcourt, with stops at Madobi, Dangora, Kura, Zaria, Kaduna Junction, Zongwa, Kafanchan, Wasai, Lafia, Ayarugu, Makurdi, Otoko, Ihamufu, Enugu, Ovim, Amaba, Umahia, and Aba stations.
To benefit from the reforms effort by the NRC, we record that the Lagos to Kano Intercity Passenger Service was launched here in Kano City in 2012, several years after traffic had been suspended on this route. Despite recent security challenges, Kano still remains the commercial nerve center of northern Nigeria, attracting trade and economic integration with the other parts of the country and neighboring countries. It is a state with a high population and excellent demographic attributes and the other potentials. The relevance and the presence of functional railway to serve the needs of the people of Kano State and those coming to do business here in Kano can therefore not be overemphasized, as the rail is not only affordable but has the hard capacity to not only move people en masse, but by its nature, the rail mode passes through the rural areas where most of our people reside. The government of Kano State is committed to the safety and comfort of our people, and it is within this purview that Kano State will be willing to partner NRC because we are interested in helping our people move their farm produce to the market. We are
The Akwa Ibom State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has dismissed an application challenging its jurisdiction to hear the petition. The Justice Sadiq Umar led three-member panel ruled that the tribunal had jurisdiction to continue to hear the matter in Abuja. Justice Umar upheld the argument to counsel to the petitioner, Wole Olanipekun, that the recent kidnapping of judges in some states necessitated the relocation of the tribunal out of the state. He also rejected the submission by defense counsel Adigboyega Awomolo that the tribunal was relocated from Akwa Ibom to Abuja without fair hearing for Governor Emmanuel Udom and the People's Democratic Party. The tribunal chairman explained that the ruling on the application challenging jurisdiction was not given earlier to allow the Court of Appeal deliver ruling on same application pending before it. 30 witnesses called by the All Progressives Congress have so far testified that there was no governorship election in the state. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has invited Kingsley Kuku, the former special advisor on Niger Delta affairs, to ex-President Goodluck Jonathan for questioning. Kuku, who also heard the Presidential Committee on Amnesty, is expected to tell EFCC investigators all he knows about alleged embezzlement and fraudulent diversion of funds running into hundreds of million naira. EFCC spokesman Wilson Uwujaren confirmed the development but would not give details of the allegation. He added that Kuku had been directed to appear before a team of interrogators at the EFCC office on Tuesday, July 28. The police in Ibadan Friday rearranged a 31-year-old ex-banker Ogunshola Israel over an alleged 19.5 million naira fraud. Israel was arraigned at Iyaganku Chief Magistrates Court on 3 charges bordering on stealing and fraudulent transaction. He was previously arraigned on August 24, 2012 before Magistrate Shola Adekujoye. Israel had pleaded not guilty to the charges preferred against him and was granted bail in the sum of 5 million naira. Adebusoye told the court that the accused committed the offense between July 2011 and March 2012 within the premises of Stanbic IBTC PLC Ring Road, Ibadan. The magistrate at DPC held that the accused was allowed to continue with the previous bail terms. He adjourned the case to August 27 for hearing. Gani Adams, the factional leader of Odua People's Congress, on Friday sympathized with the Arepo community and Nigerians over the Wednesday's pipeline explosion that killed more than 100 people. This is contained in a statement issued by Yinka Oguntimeng, the OPC Director of Media and Publicity in Lagos. According to the statement, similar events were recorded in Ikorodu and Ijedodo areas of Lagos, with another recorded in Bayelsa due to activities of pipeline vandals. He further recalled that while OPC men worked at the site of the pipeline in Arepo, the people of the community had a sense of safety and blamed the recent vandalism on politics and FG's withdrawal of contracts from the OPC. Scores of placard-carrying students on Friday morning stormed the Federal High Court in Lagos in continuation of their protest against the alleged plan by the registrar of the Joint Admission Matriculation Board, Dibu Ajerinde, to stop them from writing entrance examination into the University of Lagos for this year's admission. The students went to court in 2 BRT vehicles. They were led by one of their lawyers, Alex Ogidingbe. The Youth Business Leaders of Nigeria organizes Business Summit meant to reduce the level of unemployment and bringing youth in making use of the creativity of modern technology. The summit also entails getting youth to understand business terrain on how to go about the businesses.
The YBN and this event is not all about entrepreneurship. Now, what we've identified as one of the ways we can solve unemployment is to enhance the capacity of young people who are entrepreneurially inclined to help and put in their own effort in trying to solve the unemployment crisis.
What I find is that a lot of young people just need direction. They need to be guided. They need to understand the terrain, the business terrain that they are navigating. So why do you want them to make the same mistakes that you made? Mentoring is about getting people to take advantage of your own experiences, positive and negative, learning from them, maximizing them and using it for their own benefit.
Realizing that there's a difficulty is 50% of the solution, which means you have to reach into your inner self, tell yourself that you're not going to go under. That's the first thing. Once you make that promise, then you step out. And in any area you find yourself, whether you're going to do a business, get good advice. If you get capital, be prudent about it. If you have an expensive lifestyle, cut it, because it's not going to work at this material time. Go get into a savings culture, because savings help you when the rainy day comes.
We take another break and we'll be back with stories from outside Nigeria, business, sport and entertainment report. Stay tuned.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, treating looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has the right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back, and from outside Nigeria, U.S. President Barack Obama arrived in Kenya late Friday, his first visit to the country of his father's pet since his election as president. Air Force One touched down at Nairobi's International Airport, marking the start of a weekend visit during which the president will address an entrepreneurship summit and hold talks on trade and investment, security and terrorism, democracy and human rights. Obama was greeted by Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta with a handshake and embrace as he stepped off Air Force One. A massive security operation was also underway to protect Obama. Parts of the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, have been locked down and airspace closed during the president's arrival late Friday and his departure late Sunday for neighboring Ethiopia. Top of the list of security concerns is Somalia's Shabab militants who have staged a string of suicide attacks, massacres and bombings on Kenya soil, including the bloody attack on the Westgate shopping mall in the heart of the capital nearly 2 years ago that left 67 dead. Excitement has been building in Kenya for weeks, with the visit painted as a major boost for the country's position as an African hub. Just days before the United States is to release its annual global report on human trafficking, Thai authorities announced 72 trafficking suspects already in custody and to be indicated on related charges, while warrants have been issued for the arrest of 45 additional people. No bail will be granted to any of those indicated, according to authorities, as among those being held in army, Lieutenant General Manas Kompan, Thailand's sweeping crackdown in May has also netted 14 other officials, including 4 police officers, in what the Deputy National Police Chief, Ek Akskanothan, characterized as Thailand's biggest investigation into human trafficking. Thailand's move against the smuggling network came after more than 24 bodies were discovered in jungle graves near sites of suspected people smuggling camps along the Thai-Malaysian border. Turkey's government is vowed to continue targeting Islamic State militants after launching airstrikes against the opposition in Syria. The Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu said the airstrikes, which is the first by Turkey on Islamic State, has completely destroyed their targets. Meanwhile, Turkish forces and Islamic State fighters traded fire on Thursday near the Syrian border, leaving 1 Turkish soldier dead. However, it was reported that the Turkish police has launched raids against Islamic State and Kurdish militants, arresting 297 people. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said the operations against militants would continue. Just days before the United States is to release its annual global report on human trafficking, Thai authorities announced 72 trafficking suspects. Now to business. The Central Bank of Nigeria has retained the monetary policy rate at 13% and the cash reserve rate at 31%. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, who disclosed the outcome of Monetary Policy Committee meeting journalists in Abuja, explained that 8 out of 12 voted to retain the MPR, while the decision to retain the CRR was unanimous. He also revealed that the country's foreign reserve has grown to $30 billion, as well as acknowledged a drop in the Naira Stock Exchange All Share Index.
Committee's decisions. In consideration of the underlying fundamentals of the economy, the evolving international economic environment, developments in oil prices, as well as the need to allow for unveiling of the economic agenda of the federal government, committee decided by a vote of 8-4 to retain the monetary policy rate at its current level of 13%, by a unanimous vote to retain the CRR at 31%, and by a vote to retain the CRR at 31%, and a vote of 8-4 not to remunerate the CRR. Further, one member voted to increase the MPR by 50 basis points to 13.5%, and 3 members by 100 basis points to 14%. Overall, MPC voted to hold its position. In summary, the MPC voted 1, to retain the MPR at 13% with a corridor of plus or minus 200 basis points across the midpoint. 2, retain CRR at 31%, and 3, to retain the symmetric corridor of 200 basis points around the MPR.
Following the declaration of force majeure by Integrated Energy Distribution and Marketing Company, the co-investor in the Yola Electricity Distribution Company, the federal government is taking over the beleaguered power firm. It has also appointed Baba Mustafa as engineer to lead the company in the capacity of an acting managing director. Before his new appointment, Mustafa was a deputy director in the Ministry of Power. The Yola Electricity Distribution Company covers Adamawa, Borno, Taraba, and Yobe states. Except for Taraba State, the other 3 have been mostly affected by the activities of Boko Haram and the subsequent war against it. However, Yola Disco is one of the 11 electricity distribution companies that were sold to private investors, private sector operators in the gale of reforms of the nation's power industry that led to the unbundling of the defunct monopoly, the Power Holding Company of Nigeria. Aruma Ote, former Director General, Security Exchange Commission, has been appointed Vice President and Treasurer of the World Bank. The appointment was on Friday confirmed in a press statement issued by Jim Yong Kim, World Bank President of the World. Ote was selected to the position through an international competitive research. Appointment is effective as from September 28, 2015. Aruma National was most recently the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria, appointed to a 5-year term by the President of Nigeria in 2010. She led the transformation of the country's capital markets industry into a major global presence. She was a member of the board of the International Organization of Securities Commissions and the chairperson of the African Middle East Regional Committee of LUSCO. Now to sports. Nigerian international Mikel Obi admits he's enjoying his time with the Blues, but refused to rule out a move before the end of his career, and he was moved to end speculation over his Chelsea future by insisting he's happy at Stamford Bridge. The 28-year-old was linked with the likes of Al Ain and Fenerbahce during the transfer window, but remained with Blues despite the interest, and he said that considered leaving Chelsea. But he had a change of mind since the manager, Jose Mourinho, wants him to stay. This would be Mikel's 10th year at the club, and the Nigerian international, who has a very good relationship with the coach Jose Mourinho, says he likes where he is part of the big family. Since John Obi Mikel moved from Lyon Oslo in 2006, the Super Eagles stars won 10 major titles with the Stamford Bridge Giants. Man City were comprehensively beaten 4-1 by Real Madrid in an entertaining International Champions Cup encounter in Melbourne. Some superb, attractive attacking play gave Madrid a 2-goal lead within the space of 4 minutes midway through the first half as Karim Benzema and Cristiano Ronaldo struck past Joe's heart in front of a record crowd of 99,382, the largest attendance for a football match at the MCJ. Pepe then added home on mat from a corner late in the first half before Yaya Toure got one back for Manuel Pellegrini's men with a penalty in stoppage time just before the break, and City could not push further against Madrid. However, with Dennis Chelsea burying a 4th goal for the Spaniards when he meets Isco's cross in the 73rd minute. Fabian Delphi, who signed from Aston Villa for $8 million earlier in July, made a City debut but lasted just 18 minutes before being stretched off, appearing to have been injured his left thigh as he tackled Luka Modric from behind. Paris Saint-Germain striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic has admitted that he would like to play in MLS in the future, and the Sweden international has been heavily linked with a move away from the Parc des Princes this summer, with AC Milan keen to lure him back to San Siro. However, he stressed that a return to Italy is by no means a guarantee, as he aims to ply his trade in the United States at some point too. Zlatan, who was in the US 10 years ago, says soccer was not on the level that it is today, but it's growing, and says it's growing in the right direction, and says he wants to be on the level of Europe. The striker has a contract with PSG until June 2016. Now to entertainment. New preview for the 2nd season of Gotham have been made available online by Fox as first debut during the Comic-Con earlier this month. The 2 trailers tease the rise of the villains and give a new look at the Bat Cave. In the first trailer titled Hungry, viewers get to see some new bodies like Tabitha Galavan, aka Tigress, and Big Brother Theo in the first, of course, and Jerome, aka the Joker, can also be seen in the 30-second clip. Gotham returns on September 21. Benjamin Mackenzie, Moreno, Bakarin, Dologo, Shern Pratiwi, Cameron Bikondov, and David Mazao and Aaron Richards are back for the new season. The official trailer for the highly anticipated adventure movie, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2 has arrived, and the trailer mostly features Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen leading a team in war. The final chapter of the Hunger Games movie centers on Katniss and a team on the mission to take down the Capitol. At the beginning of the trailer, Donald Sutherland, President Snow, warns Katniss, "I've been watching you and you were watching me. My dear Miss Everdeen, make no mistake, the game is coming to its end," he says. Katniss leads the revolution with the unit from District 13 as they risk their lives to liberate the citizens of Panem. Our lives were never ours and they belong to Snow, and our that do too. But if you kill him, Katniss, if you end all of it, all those that, they mean something, Petter says to Katniss. Directed by Francis Lawrence, who also helmed the Hunger Games Catching Fire and the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, this final Hunger Games film is due to arrive stateside on November 20 this year. Disney Pixar brings back the prehistoric era in The Good Dinosaur, which is now previewed in a trailer and featuring the taglines which read, "A single moment can change history, as a single kindness can change everything." The video is sure to melt everyone's heart with the unlikely friendship between a sweet dinosaur and a young boy. From the creators of Finding Nemo and Inside Out, the upcoming animated movie imagines what would happen if the cataclysmic asteroid that's forever changed life on Earth actually missed the planet completely and the giant dinosaurs never became extinct. The film centers on Arlo, a lively 70-foot tall teenage aposterus with a big heart. After a traumatic event rattles Oslo's tranquil community, he sets out on a quest to restore peace, gaining an unlikely companion along the way, a young human boy named Sport. Before we go, here's a quick reminder of our major story. The presidency has affirmed that President Muhammad Buhari will not extend his corruption probe beyond the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Some senators elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have warned some unnamed politicians against unleashing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on members of the National Assembly. Chief of Army Staff Major General Tukur Buratai says the era of troops taking up defensive position against terrorists and other criminals are now over. Thank you so very much for watching. It's been CoreTV Primetime News. I remain Omotayo Alo.